So in this lesson, I'm going to show you a quick way how you can check your linear equations in Algebra 1 using the Desmos calculator. Keep in mind that this is just a quick way for you to check them. You can do it after you've already solved it manually, or you can do it before you even solve the problem. I would often ask my students to use it before, being that it is a good motivator to kind of get you started, because you're like, oh, I already got the right answer in my head. I already know what it is. So it's kind of a good motivator to help you go ahead with a problem. Also, it saves time. One of the reasons that we allow calculators for an accommodation is to save time. So since you're able to use the graphing calculator anyway, you can also use it to kind of save time in checking your work. There are other ways to check your work, which I'm going to show you how to check your work manually. But again, this is just a quick way to do it at home. So that you can check to see if your answer is correct. And also, if you're a mom, it's a great way for you to engage with your child in doing their algebra homework. You don't have to be math smart. You don't have to be a person who knows math, but it's an easy way that you can kind of engage with your child and kind of show your child, hey, I do know how to do some things. I can help you out a bit and help them to check their work. All right, so here we have some linear equations. We have 8x minus 221 is equal to 3. That is a two-step equation. We also have a multi-step equation, which is sometimes, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to solve these equations using Desmos graphing calculator. Now, your child may have a handheld graphing calculator. That's fine. They can still type it in. But, it's easy to just pull it up online. If you're home, you're doing your homework, you've completed your homework, you want to quickly check your answers. So it's easy to just pull it up online and just go and do that. So you can just go to any browser. I like to use Desmos. I think that's the most popular one. It's the most easiest and simplest one to use. So you can go, just type in Desmos graphing calculator, pull it up. All right, so Desmos offers this lovely screen, and then it has this little keypad down here that students find fun and it's easy to use. And you can just pull that keypad up. Keep in mind, you can type with either your pad that you have, or you can use Desmos keypad, which I find most students prefer Desmos keypad because it is easier to use, okay? So we're just going to go here quickly, and we're going to type in the linear equation using the keypad. 8x minus 21 is equal to 3. And now you're going to look for your answer on the x and y axis. Keep in mind, since we're talking about the x axis, we're looking at the horizontal axis, and we're going to just click right where that little dot is. See that little gray dot? And your answer is 3. Now, obviously, your teacher might ask you to check your work, and they might want you to show where you checked your work on a piece of paper. So you can go right in here and you can take your answer and you can place it. If you're working on paper, you can just copy this onto some paper after you've already completed it on here. 8, where your x is, you're going to replace your x. You're going to substitute your x with 3. Substitute or replace your x with 3. Minus 21, and it's going to be equal to, it should be equal to your answer up here, or you'll see it over here. Okay, so you can just you can type it onto your paper where you checked your work. If you're doing it online and you're submitting it online, you can take a screenshot of this and show your teacher where you checked your work. So yeah, you could say, hey, yeah, I did do it on Desmos, but I also checked it as well. Okay. All right. So keep in mind, Desmos has it color coded for each problem. So red here, that's the red line where you can look. So the next problem is they're going to give you a different color. All right, so we're going to type in the next problem, which is a multi-step or compound, 4x. And we're going to keep in mind how we do fractions with the graphing calculator. We're going to highlight it with our keypad. And then we're going to use the division symbol because a fraction is a division problem, right? And then we're going to put the 3 under it. We're going to do minus. We're going to come back here, put my browser there because now I'm going to put the rest of the problem in. Minus 2 is going to be equal to 2x plus 3. Now all of this is in the numerator, so I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to use my division symbol and I'm going to put my 3 in the denominator and I'm going to subtract that from 1. All right. So now again, my line turns green. So why is it the same line? Because this answer again is 3. Now all your problem answers are not going to be 3, obviously, but this so happens to also be 3. All right. And again, if you want to check it, you can go in and you can do your 4. Let's type about keypad 4. Where my x is, I'm going to put, keep in mind when you're substituting, you have to put your answer in parentheses. So 4, 3, I'm going to put it in parentheses where my x was. I'm going to highlight it because all of that is in the numerator. I'm going to divide it by 3, just like I have it up here. I'm going to subtract 2. I'm going to do my equal sign. I'm going to put my 2 where my x was. I'm going to again put 3. Plus 3. Remember, all of that is in the numerator, so I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to do my division symbol over 3. And I'm going to subtract that from 1. And again, there my answer is 3. Okay, so it's still going to be the same answer. If your teacher wants to see where you checked your work, you can just transfer this onto paper. Or you can, again, once you're done all your problems, just take a screenshot and amaze your teacher and show, hey, look, I was able to solve it on Desmos, but I was also able to solve it manually too. I substituted it into the problem. And yeah, you see where my x-axis is because I'm solving for the x value. And that's where it is, 3. It's my answer. All right. So let's go to the next one. Again, I said, you may get a problem where the variable is different. It doesn't matter if the variable is x, y, if it's a, b, c, d, e, f, g. As long as it's a linear equation, as long as the variable is the same throughout the problem, you can use this method. You just have to change the variable to x. So whatever the variable is, change it to x. And then when you get your answer, just change the variable back to whatever it was. Let me give you an example. So in this problem that we had, my variable was t, but I'm going to change it to x. So I'm going to type it in as x instead of t. So the original problem was 2t, but I'm going to change it to 2x minus 5. And again, this is in the numerator, so I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to use my division symbol over 5 plus 2 equal to, again, it was t, but keep in mind I'm going to change it to x because that's what the calculator recognizes, minus 2. This was in the numerator, so I'm going to highlight it, divide it, use my division symbol to divide it by 3 plus 2. Sorry. Come over here, plus 2. Okay? And again, the color code for this line is black. So I'm going to go over here and my answer is 5. Okay? Now, when I transfer it on paper, I'm just going to write it as t is equal to 5. I'm not going to write it as x is equal to 5. Okay? Because you want your teacher to see, you want to use the variable that they gave you originally. So make sure when you transfer your answer to your paper, you don't write it as x. If it's not an x, you write it as whatever the variable was. So if it was originally a t, you write it as t is equal to. Okay? Not that you would be wrong, because it is the x value, right? But you just want to make sure that the teacher knows what you're doing, that you have an understanding of the basic concept that it is the x value. Okay. Again, you can check your work. I'm going to do T where my T was, or my X on this paper. I'm going to transfer it with 5, substitute it with 5, minus 5. That was in my numerator, so I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to divide it by 5 plus 2. I'm going to have it equal to, again, where my X was, I'm going to put a 5 there, minus 2. I'm going to highlight it because all of that is in the numerator. I'm going to divide it by 3. And I'm going to come over here and do plus 2. And again, your line isn't going to change. You should still have the same line where your answer is 5. It's not going to give you a new line because it's the same problem. And so you should get the same answer. If it was a different problem, it would give you a different line, but you only have that same black line because it's the same problem, and then you would write it as what it was, T is equal to 2. Okay? That's how you would write it on the paper because it was originally a T instead of an X. So I hope this is helpful. Again, it's just a quick way to check your work. It's a way to also show your teacher that you do have some understanding of how to use the graphic calculator. It's also a good motivator for each problem. You can just go through all of your problems and solve them this way, and then go back and check and do it manually. So it's a good motivator. It's a good way that moms can engage with their children in Algebra 1 and say, hey, you know, I can check it for you. I can show you how to check it. So you can do that. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Look forward to some other videos. There are a lot of great activities you can do on Desmos, so I will be coming out with some other videos where you can use Desmos as a tool at home to do a lot of activities in Algebra 1 as well as Algebra 2. So let me know what you think. Put some comments in the comment section. Take care.